Welcome to the Planning and Zoning Commission Study Session meeting for Monday, April 11th, 2022. It is now 6 p.m. and I am calling the meeting to order. I'd like to thank all the commissioners for your faithful attendance tonight and your dedication to the city. We'll jump right into the agenda. Item A1, discuss regular agenda items. It takes us to C1, consider approval of the March 28th, 2022 Planning and Zoning Commission minutes and take appropriate action. Any corrections to the minutes?
None to the minutes. I did have an inquiry. I know that we've removed the attendance matrix because we're no longer voting on it. Will any such matrix or attendance be captured? I'm sure you're capturing it internally, but I meant in a more public-facing matter because I know it may be useful. I know it is for myself when I was looking and researching various things to know who was present at various meetings.
I don't foresee it being in a public-facing manner,
Okay.
but we will be keeping track of the attendance in-house staff.
Okay.
I can just email you if I need to know, hey, how many absences have I had?
Yes, either me or Brian.
So why did they do that? I wasn't here for that discussion.
So City Council adopted this ordinance very recently, I think just last month, where, the policy was if you miss more than 2 consecutive meetings of a pre-scheduled board or commission without excuse, then you were removed from eligible for removal of the board. However, as we have also seen, it would always get the absences were always getting excused, and not just this board, but every board. So City Council's goal was to make sure that the members who have volunteered are actually available. Sometimes, life-changing stuff happens, and if someone is not available or commit to on a regular basis, they wanted to take away that 2 unexcused absences, and they just wanted to make it same across the board and make it where if you miss more than 25% of the regularly scheduled meetings in a calendar year, then you are considered to be automatically removed.
Got it.
And they want to get everyone a chance, I guess. That's how they're seeing it, that if someone is really busy or something else is going on and they haven't been able to make the meeting, then it's better to have someone else who has the time to serve. And there was a follow-up question that was raised by staff afterwards as a clarification that, hey, if there is really like a serious medical issue, someone had like broken a bone or injured or somehow is hospitalized, something is going on. What about those? Because those are valid, excuses. However, council's call was that no, even in those cases, yeah, they would be always welcome back to the board in future. But for the time being, they want to have members who are fully available to serve.
Okay.
So it is 25% in a calendar year, not in a rolling 12-month period? I thought maybe I misread
It
it.
probably,
That's what I
yeah,
thought.
it started from the last meeting, you were
Okay,
correct.
so it is,
Like a 12
okay, so
month.
it's not a calendar year, it's 12
Yes,
months.
yes, you're right.
I just had a question about, do we have any openings on this board, on this commission?
Not right now.
Okay. I saw an email go out about like volunteer and our commission's always on there and it's like,
But that's they put it out for all of them, but not all of them are available. They
I
don't
just
have any
think
open
that's silly
seats.
to, put the
Yeah.
commission that doesn't have any seats on.
Right.
Right.
As a place you could volunteer.
Well, theoretically, so they do a board selection period, right, which is typically in May, and they make and so if somebody were to resign between now and then, I mean, they would at least have some candidates, right?
Their name on there, yeah.
Okay. Build a
Or
bench.
if somebody has to reapply, there was always, it happened when I was on the library board, that person that was on our board was not selected to continue to be on the board.
Wow.
So I had a question, is that for the other boards and commissions, is the city tracking those other boards'
All of them.
attendance? Okay. So it's a city representative to handle
Yes,
each.
yes. And I think Chairman Moore brought it up last time too, that unlike ours, some of the city boards might not have that kind of staff resources or departmental resources devoted to them, where probably it's the board who is keeping track of.
Some commissions don't meet as frequently as we
Right.
do. They may only meet once a quarter.
Yeah.
And so you can imagine if you're meeting once a quarter and someone misses 2 meetings, they've missed half the meetings.
And I just didn't know if
And
there
then they
was a,
show up when a controversial topic comes up and they're suddenly on the board. And so the mayor has a quarterly chairs luncheon, and this sort of came up at the last two actually. And other chairs were kind of bringing up this topic, because it was really up to them to manage it. I didn't feel that way because staff's keeping the matrix and we look at it, every single meeting. But others really don't even look at it, and if they do, it's up to the chair to keep track. And so there was some concern because I think it put the chair in a position where they were the ones who were having to either address or not address the member who was absent. In our case, I think if someone, was problematic, the mayor would reach out.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be the chair who would be doing that. So I think this is one of the ways council decided that it sort of
I
made
just
it
didn't know
more
who
of an
was
even
doing
playing field.
attendance tracking now. It sounds like a city.
Yeah.
Yes, so we will still be like, even though you are not
Do you
acting,
wanna slide up, Gio?
even though you're not acting on the item, we in-house will still be tracking the absences.
Carry your weight, get up here, come on, come on. We
There
want
was
you here.
also confusion on what is excused and what is unexcused.
Yeah, yeah.
And, there was so much gray. I'm not even really sure, as it went up to city secretary and council that it was clear. And so I think that was part of the reason they just said, basically, an absence is an absence. Let's not even get into what the reason is. And, then let's set a number, and that will be easier to manage. Because every commission has a different number of meetings. We start out with 2 a month, generally speaking, but then, some months we only go
Cancel.
down to 1, and then we cancel and whatever. And so, it's kind of a moving target.
And we kind of gave a average, like we counted the meetings over the last 3 calendar years for us. By charter, we are required to have at least 1 meeting a month, and we always maintain that. So on an average, you can see about 16 meetings to be average between the last 3 years. So 4 would be a good number. Like if you're trying to kind of pace yourself and see, okay, if I'm missing, like, say, the 4th meeting, that probably is almost 25%.
Okay, so any other discussion about the minutes? I guess there's no concerns, and so we'll move on to item C2. Consider the request from Gilbride Investments LLC for a final plat approval of Denton Drive Addition, Lot 1, Block A, addressed at 13850 North Stemmons Freeway, and take appropriate action. Any questions?
Chris will be presenting that item.
Okay, super. All right, and that takes us on to D1, the public hearing. Conduct a public hearing and consider the request to rezone approximately 1.10 acre tract of land located at 3940 Spring Valley Road from light industrial LI zoning district to planned development district number 106, PD 106 zoning restriction, including but not limited to one family-attached townhome residential development as a permitted use, and establish related development standards and take appropriate action. I believe this case, the applicants are a little bit behind, but Sarupa wanted us to open the public hearing and then delay it, or whatever the word is.
Continue it to
Continue
April 25th.
to the next meeting, and then the next meeting, the applicants will be here to make their presentations. So that's why it's not in your packet.
And there's no files there, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Is this a me thing?
Yeah, this is weird.
Far behind is not even any info.
Well, actually, that's why we wrote that in the cover memo, and Chris will be bringing that back to you on April 25th, that we have been working with the city attorney's office. It's the PD ordinance that needs some more work. So kind of have most of the stuff ready, but we noticed it in anticipation that maybe we'll have everything squared away. But it wasn't, so we were able to talk to the applicant, and they're still going to be on the same timeline. They'll still go to the same council meeting as if they were going to this one. so it didn't impact their overall schedule.
So that's what that one is. That takes us back up to item A2, update regarding target area housing programs in Farmers Branch. Ms. Cook.
All right, good afternoon, evening. In January of 2022, we did a joint meeting with City Council to have a brief overview of the Builder of Hope program. It is not fully finished with all the details, so this is kind of a status update of where it stands. And another brief overview of what it is. These are some of the questions I've been getting. Typically, I wouldn't bring a project forward even halfway with some information unless it was really, really necessary. And at that time, it was either the council or someone was asking for the Builder of Hope information in January. So that's why we're talking about it today. I usually would wait till it's finished and then roll it out. So I get questions, why, what, when, how, who? So I thought I'd start with some of those. 2017, there was a bond passed by residents, and some people don't know this because they've asked me, so I thought I would refresh people. A few years ago, we passed a bond, and neighborhood revitalization was one of the 3 items on the bond. And the voters wanted to continue the existing 2 programs that we have. One's neighborhood revitalization and one's called demo rebuild. So within neighborhood revitalization, the city buys more dilapidated homes, tears it down, sells it to the open market. So what is this? The target area, as we have defined it, this is a loose map, but we've used the word target area for a few years between B Street, Josie, Valwood, and Valley View Lane. So it's essentially our target area. We have now 15 lots in this target area, and we started to notice the valuations were going up significantly for land and homes. And so with having 15 lots without homes on them, there was only really 2 roads you could do. You could continue the program that you're already doing for the rest of the city, and you could sell to the highest bidder with the highest project. And with your 15 lots, you could possibly shift a gentrification in the area because people are paying pretty pennies for lots, and they're paying pretty pennies to build. So we decided that we would, just with the lots that we own, do more of a sustainable development and not be part of gentrifying an area. The only way to do that would be controlling the price point of what you're selling and the product of what you're selling. So somewhere, public information will be more available in late summer, fall 2022. We've obviously never done this before. I don't know if a city has done before 80 to 120 of AMI. So anyway, we are going through it as the first time. Who will be buying? Workforce development is kind of the term coined by Dallas County and others. And we have a slide. So 80 to 120, the 5 is really a percentage when you don't hit shift. So I just wanted everyone to learn, when you don't hit shift, you get 5. Are we good with that lesson today?
It's confusing. Say,
See, when you type 80-120 shift 5, it will give you percentage.
okay.
When you don't use the shift, you get a 5. We good? That's just our lesson for today about the shift key.
I thought you were giving us the AM stations you like listening to.
Well, we can talk about that too after this, because it's not on the agenda. So slide 4 goes more into 80 and 120 percentage of area median income. We can get into that, but that's the who and how. How would we be building such a thing? Builders of Hope, they've been around a long time. They're a nonprofit builder, and they're capable of building what we've asked them to build. And they have relationships with a family that gives out grants for 80 to 120 of AMI. And they work with the Dallas County a lot, getting grants for certain criteria. So they're well-versed in things that we don't really know anything about, for a lot of good reasons. Okay, what are the goals and the timeline? The goal is really to provide sustainable housing on our lots. We only own 15 in this little pocket of the world. So the council initiative with the bond money is providing sustainable housing. The footprint size, we want to control the size of the footprint because we're not overbuilding for the parcel in the area. And that also keeps the cost controlled. So more square footage, more dollars. One-story product, I call a functional front porch. What I've asked Builders of Hope for and the architect is a front porch that you can fit chairs on and you're not gonna fall off. So I have a little bitty front porch. Can't fit a chair on, but two people can stand on. And to me, that's not functional. So a deep front porch that is a living space that's covered. That's my hope and goal. If nothing else, I will leave this program with front porches that are deep and covered. So people want to be outside and talk to their neighbors. And 1,700 to 2,100 square feet is where we landed with the builder on cost and values and things of that nature. Okay, architect was chosen just a few weeks ago. They owe us design proposals, so the council can look over design proposals. And then we should have a marketing plan and more information in the summer. Do you like the front porch on here?
You like it.
That's a nice front porch.
Yeah. So is this representative of what we're looking?
Nope,
this-
but it's a pretty
oh, okay.
picture. I found it online. And we have front entry garages only in this area because we don't have alleys that are workable. So we don't have the renderings yet from the architect because he was just chosen. So he'll have to give us a front entry product and he'll have to get me a deep covered front porch. I've sent him pictures like this, what I mean
So-
by deep.
So what if the rest of the neighborhood has rear entry and they've got?
There's
uh,
no rear entry there.
Okay. No.
Because there are no alleys there.
Okay.
It would be
Got it.
great to have alleys, because then you can have more of the curb appeal unless
Sure.
the garage, it's just not functional on these streets. It was never built that way.
So then Farmers Branch did change that ruling that you can now have front entry garages.
Well, they're already existing in front entry garages here, because
Okay.
nobody can drive in the alleys as it is now
Okay.
in this pocket.
I live in
So-
a furniture garage.
Do you?
Yeah, and there are 5 of us in a row because there's no alley behind us because it's,
Yeah. We tried to change
That
that in
U
Farmers
shape
Branch,
there,
but it
we'll
looks
be
like
on
it's
the-
not happening. Yeah.
I mean, there's ways to, I have a J drive, and then I just have less house. So I pull in the J, because I don't use my, or somebody made that choice for me in the 50s. But anyway, I digress. So what is area median income? People ask me this quite a bit. I've only just learned it myself this past year. So this table, Builders of Hope gave it to me, and there's percentages on the left, goes from 80 all the way up to 120 on the left, and there's columns of persons in your household. So this is the part that can be confusing, but I want to clear it up. So within our program, when you start with one person at 80%, if you're one person, you can make $49,850. If you're one person, if you're a single mom with a child, you can make $57,000. If you're two people, you can still make $57,000. If you have 2 adults and 1 child, you can make $64,100. So you can make 30-something and 30-something and be a household of 2 adults, 1 child. So this is the table, and we decided on 81 to 120 because we weren't trying to solve the problem for an affordable housing program for single-family houses. We were doing more what's called workforce development. That's the missing middle. And here are some examples on the right. So the Muse Family Foundation partner with Builders of Hope, and for our program, if you are in 80 to 120%, they are going to assist with the $25,000 grant. Now, you have to live in there for X amount of years, you pay the grant back. So those are all the things that we can talk about much later. But just for simplification, home buyer A, our purchase price on MLS will be recorded, just so the market's not confused and people wonder what in the world's going on, and nobody else can replicate it. 355,000, 1,900 square feet home. If you are in the 80% of area median income, you still have to qualify for Dallas County grant. You have to go through that. They'll vet your income. They'll vet your tax return and all that kind of stuff. You can get up to 45,000. It'll depend on a lot of criteria, things I've never dealt with. That's just the 80% function. So Muse Family will give 25, Dallas County can give 45. If you're a home buyer A and you're in that scenario, then your actual price of your mortgage is $285. Does that make sense? Okay, home buyer B. Let's say you make more than the 80%. And you want the 1,900, you don't want the 1,700 square foot home. So you want the 355, and you're gonna get that grant, so you want the 330 sales price home. Home buyer C. Say it's a 1,700 square foot home, which is 330,000. Muse Family Foundation grant takes 25 off. And if you qualify for the 45 of Dallas County, that takes your actual sales price to 260, which is unheard of for new construction, even if it's 1,700 square feet. Home buyer D, 1,700 square feet, same thing, $330,000 recorded sale in MLS. But then, and you make too much, you make over 80%. So you can still qualify for the Muse Family Foundation grant, and your mortgage walking in is 305.
So within 80% means 80% or below,
It can be below, you can make a little less,
but up to,
but you can't make.
not exceeding 80%.
So it's 81% to 120.
Okay.
It kicks you out of the Dallas County grant program. So we
So
did
no one-
grab a percentage.
So no investors allowed
Investors for what?
to buy the home and rent it out?
You have to homestead it.
You have to homestead it for how long?
And you have to homestead it for the entire time that you own it, and there is a deed restriction of at least 7 years for the grant. So if you flip it on me, you owe me the variance. You owe me the difference.
Okay. Can seniors do this also?
Oh, we don't discriminate in housing, Linda.
Okay.
Anybody can buy.
As long as they fit within this criteria.
housing law.
Seniors can buy.
Any age can buy. There's no
Okay.
there's no age
Those are
restriction.
great, those are great numbers.
These are great
Like-
numbers.
Any home buyer, I'm like, you don't have to be a first-time home buyer, it can be.
No, but I think it is good if you are a first-time home buyer, or
Yeah.
if X amount of years have passed and you haven't bought a house in a while. I think a bank may see you as a first-time home buyer. I could be wrong by that, if you haven't bought recently.
Correct.
They're
That
qualifying
is
for
correct.
conventional mortgages or FHA mortgages or.
They, Builders of Hope has partnerships with lenders that help with various incomes and credits, so things I don't.
So where are these
partnerships
people
for.
from? The,
Well, we're gonna market it to the region when we're ready. We're gonna do a soft marketing just to our trade area and give it a few months. I think, once we open it up to this area, they absolutely, we're only doing 5 at a time. Since we've never done this, we're doing 5 lots. We're gonna see how it goes. We're gonna map out what went well, what didn't, and try to clean up any process that needs cleaning up.
so when you say market it to our area, you don't mean MLS?
I'm not gonna put on MLS until probably we record the sale, because when we market it to this area and give it out to realtors and whatnot, I think we'll have a line down the street.
You will.
We are not selling homes at City Hall, so I want to be really clear. Builders of Hope is gonna set up, and they have an office now, but they'll set up an office when they're ready in the trade area, and they are running the program. So we're not selling houses, and we're not picking people who gets to buy, and we have no part of this. We happen to be the land sale, and we have criteria through deed restriction.
Do you know what their criteria are? Like how, if they have 20 people to choose from, how do they choose?
I don't know, but I know they're gonna have a website, and they're gonna have a portal, and so when it opens up, and you have to go through the application and vetting process. And so, they eventually will have 5, and if they end up with 6, they may go with the first 5 that came in. There is a great demand, there is a limited supply of housing, period.
At this
in-
price, there's a huge demand.
It's a huge demand anywhere, and it's
Yes.
pretty much impossible to build unless you have, I first started with some home builders in our trade area that don't build in numbers similar to this. And they couldn't do the program because they don't have the contractors, and they don't know the materials, and they don't do this for a living, so they couldn't do it. So they declined. So when I found Builders of Hope, they have all those things set up. They kind of know what to spec, and they know who to get stuff from and things of that nature within these price points. And we control the design,
Yeah.
which to me is most important.
We control the design?
Yeah.
Okay, so do we control the materials and things like that?
Well, it has to be within reason, so we'll have a material list, but I can't choose certain types of marble, right? Or maybe marble at all.
Yeah, right.
So it
Oh,
has
yeah.
to be within reason of what is a sustainable, functional product within the, but it won't be ugly. My promise to you is no track home looking soulless houses.
Thank you. So is it all gonna be mostly brick houses? I mean, I think we have a very high percentage of brick sometimes that we don't need that high percentage in order to be able to maintain, so.
Yeah, we've been talking through that with them. You know, I'm open to the cottage look, which is more, more siding and brick, so,
Right, good siding.
but we'll control the curb appeal and the design and the exterior
And
building
landscaping?
materials. They're working with us for the front landscaping and irrigation. The back will be on the homeowner.
And fenced?
Oh, yeah, they'll be fenced.
Okay, great.
I'd be interested to see what criteria they use.
For,
For the selecting, it just seems like that would be where this could be, you know, wait, how did they get it? I was there first, I make less than they do. I mean, if you have such a demand,
yeah, they
They
have
must
a
have like
huge
a-
demand.
they must have an objective sort of list of things that they could point back to and say, well, this is how we scored it.
It might just, yeah, true, it could be, but for right now, I know they have a different program. It's affordable housing in another pocket of DFW. And he said they have like 100 more applicants than they do homes. So the demand is very high, and I bet that's still through their web portal. When he says demand, it has to be coming through. So then you have a date stamp of people coming in and out and applying through that. And then you might have some applications that, I'm sorry, you don't make in this income criteria, so then you're out. If, you know, so.
In January, there was some discussion about police or teachers or firemen, especially
That's
local.
what, that's what we call
But
workforce
Can that
development.
be a criteria, though? That,
Well,
I mean, or can you not? Is that not?
you can't violate fair housing laws. You can't say certain ages and certain people, and I want this list. It's all my aunts and uncles. And so you, within the realm of who do we market it to is the best way we can give it, the information out to our local community first. It's the best we can do. But workforce development and workforce demographic is the term they use for teachers, firemen, medical professionals, and things of that nature. So you have, you know, enough of an income to qualify for a mortgage with a bank, but it's not too much to where it's like, you don't need this program that doesn't work. So under the word workforce development are all those names.
So I had a question. I think you and I maybe talked about this offline before, and I think the program's great, but in order for it to be more than just 15 lucky people,
Yeah,
we talked about sustainability and how this program can continue to thrive. And I think what you and I had both talked about, maybe targeting the people within a certain district who you could potentially incentivize them to sell their home into the program, and they can move into a new home in order for there to be a continuation of the supply versus just 50 people who are going to get lucky.
it is the
Well,
lucky 15. There's no way around it. The other way that the other thing we've talked to the Builders of Hope about is if you're in this area and we do have a boundary of it, then they've agreed to do a second program at the same time. I didn't want to confuse everything and bring it up, but if you own your own house over there right now, you own your own lot, and you want to tear it down and build, they will honor these numbers, and it's called Build on Your Lot program. And now I don't have any of the details about it because we're just fleshing this contract out, but that won't be with the city. It'll be with Builders of Hope, and when they set up their office, they can talk all about, here's a program for people that want to build, because Councilmember Ratana was the one that brought that up. She wanted people in the area to be able to have the opportunity, if they weren't buying one of the first lots, they already have lived there, and so that's how we came up with that secondary program that we will roll out when we have it. And then that way you can see some traction of, it's not just 15, it could be 20, it could be 25, and then you start to see something, but we're eventually going to be rolling out of this program. My goal was not to build 100 homes. So we're just the catalyst, and Builders of Hope can take over with the private sector and build within this target area with their numbers.
Can you make too much money to qualify?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Allison, is there a plan to have Builders of Hope come and
Yes.
present?
Yes.
Field questions, all those things?
Yeah, you'll love
Is that part of
James.
the marketing?
That's part of my plan. I wanted to get it a little more firm because we haven't signed a contract with them. So once it's real,
Yeah.
then,
I mean, you can go to Builders of Hope right now, and you can read about the Dallas-based program.
Yep.
The city of Dallas, Dallas County, it's
Yep.
not this income target, it's a
Right.
lower income target. It's not this price point, but
Right.
I mean, if the website's gonna be like this, except it's gonna be for our targeted
Yeah.
area, then that at least gives you an idea. It doesn't really tell you about qualifying much more than what Allison has said, because
Mm-hmm.
you probably have to contact them. I don't know what they say in their little canned speech about
Right.
that. But I'm sure they can't say a lot, because every single financial situation.
He did
is
mention
different.
every
So,
person will be
I mean, it's like
different.
when you're talking, if you have a mortgage guy up there and he's talking about interest rates or whatever, and
I
mean,
can't
he's
guess
not
at
gonna
that.
get down to, well, you make 300,000, you do this and you do this,
Yeah,
and,
it's this
I don't
percentage.
think, so.
But he's agreed to come, but until everything's signed, we won't
Right.
have him come, so, but he doesn't do this program, 80 to 120, but this is new for him, and he feels like there is a missing market for it. If there's an opportunity in other cities for him to do it, he'd be happy to do it. We found them just because we like them. There were one or two others that fit in this space, but we wanted to control the design, and I don't think we really had the opportunity with others, and so James let us do
So
that.
Habitat for Humanity is it kind of like this?
I'm not really familiar with their model. I don't really know.
I'm not really either, but I know that they do build and go in and build, but I think a lot of that is.
It's very affordable, I think,
is-
building.
is very affordable, but a lot of those things are provided and given and donated, and they have a huge program across the US.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't think we have a Habitat for Humanity local chapter. I know there's one that we looked at for the container homes up in, wherever
Oh,
it was.
right.
They have a place. and-
Right, right. And this group is a builder group that's ready to go, and they can take down 5 lots. So I don't know if Habitat buys the lot. I think they build on your lot if you want. And so in this instance, Builders of Hope is paying us money for the lots. So we're getting some money from the lots to be made whole.
Good.
Is that basically the cost that the city has in it?
It'll be less than our cost, because we also bought a house on it. So they're buying a lot, not a house.
They demoed the house?
We already demoed it. So what we're selling is just a lot.
And so
To
the
them.
bond money covers part of the loss, I'm assuming?
Yes.
This is exciting.
So this is a little snapshot. I know it can be a little confusing, and there's been a lot of fear mongering of the last council meeting. There were buzzwords, they were all wrong. So I just sit there and take it for a second, and I'm like, I'm doing a presentation and clearing this up. And actually, I talked to some people afterward about it, and when I explained it, they're like, oh, I understand that better now. Okay, this is the for sale, this is the market analysis as of March 23rd, when I ran it for our 28th meeting that we didn't do, so I didn't do it again. Okay, so the active listings are broken out on MLS different than active option contract. So all I'm trying to show tonight and make the point is, here's the word average for all the active listings. And when you see the average list price right now is $617,000, that's right now, that's who we are citywide, every
Area
neighborhood.
22.
The highest price real estate right now at Farmers Branch is 2.9 million, the lowest price is 295. When you go to one that has an option on it, the average is 503,000. The max that had an option on it, or did on the 23rd, is 959,000. And then the lowest was 296,000. So that's a snapshot of the city. Who we are. Actual costs. This is a brief overview of a program we've never done. If you
So
have more
builders
questions.
cannot come in and buy these lots?
No, we've already done our deal with Builders of Hope.
Okay, good.
We've spent the last year and a half vetting builders out. We started with local, and then we went through different building groups, and building in this space is not something that a lot of builders do. And then we vetted out Builders of Hope and another one, and Builders of Hope rose to the top for a lot of reasons. So the council voted unanimously on January 4th to pass a motion to sell these lots to Builders of Hope. And so it's a council project at this point.
Where's their operation out of? Where do they,
Well, their actual office is in West Dallas.
oh, local?
Local, yeah, they're local. They started in West Dallas. So the guy that runs it now grew up here, and he grew up in West Dallas and decided he was going to use his education to come back and make his neighborhood better. So he started building there and then has branched out.
Right.
And y'all will meet him once he signs a contract, but he doesn't have it, so can't blame him. Any other questions about my deed
Those
purchase?
were just the MLS that you just showed us right there.
Yes,
Those are
that's
just-
all the
Okay, got it.
active option contract.
But you can't show us where the lots are that we have?
I can, I just don't have a map of it
It's
right
okay,
now.
all right.
But how about this? If we go back to this, they're within here. I try to be accurate, Linda.
Look at this blank piece of
Whoop-de-doo,
paper.
yeah.
There, somewhere.
If you close your eyes and you picture south of Valley View, west of Josie,
You know what I'll do?
It's a
I'll put
one
up-
square
all
mile
right,
area.
north of Valley View, south of Alwood,
I'll put up
east
Google
of
Maps,
B
I'll look for the
Street.
holes.
Yeah.
Yes, look at all the
Yeah.
lots with no,
Yeah.
no homes.
So
But-
Josie, what's it again?
I could,
B Street on the west.
Yeah.
Bowwood
But
on the Ardura.
with the landscaping, maybe I'll give you a call one of these days and,
Love that,
because
yeah.
we're just at the beginning of picking those things, so
Good.
we could use help. Any more questions about my not track home functional front porch, will have a soul
Looks
house?
wonderful. I hope it looks like this.
Well, the first.
This has siding on it. This is fabulous.
The first group sent us renderings, and to be fair, it's stuff they built before, and I just couldn't stand it. And I think they probably got tired of me saying, this is the design I want, whatever. So we decided to just part ways and be friends. Builders of Hope, I think they finally just said, look, y'all design it. I don't like any of these track houses. I used to live in one. I know what they look like. And so I think good design and character doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be thoughtful. And we have another person on our team, Nancy Cardwell, and she's helping with the project. And then council gets to pick ultimately, as they already have, all of the details of it as we roll through it. So just trying to provide options in a little area that we ended up with real estate.
Great. Great job.
That's all it is. Any more questions on that?
Thank you,
I'm going to exit
Allison.
out. You're welcome.
Item A3, receive a report regarding zoning and development cases acted upon by city council.
Thank you, Chairman Moore. You all are familiar with this report. There is really no presentation. We bring this report back to you periodically. Try to do once every quarter, given like the caseload. We sometimes do it once every 6 months. So it just includes a list of all the cases that you have looked at in the past 3 or 4 months and how the city councils acted on your recommendation. As you can see, the good notice is all of them were approved as submitted. So they coincided with the Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation. So if you have any question, let me know, but
No, but it would always be nice when we did this, if we knew what, have they begun, have they been completed?
some of them, they are through early. For example, I can go on the list. The 12877 Josie Lane, they just got their site plan approved, so they're going through their civil plans and building permit plan reviews. So they haven't, of course, started construction yet. Those are the townhomes on Josie. Then the, well, the Einstein moving, they were already there. Mercer Crossing, they are just going through the townhome project. They are just submitted their site plan, so there is still some ways to go.
The 13005 Josie Lane for the
Open.
specific use permit request for drive-through restaurant, they're open, correct?
Yeah, y'all go
Yeah,
by and
the
get a
salad.
salad, yeah.
Was it that recently? It feels like that was fast.
Yeah, they
Was it-
move pretty
January?
quickly.
But I went there a week before last.
I know it's
I did
open.
too. It's
I
very
guess I
good.
thought that.
Inexpensive, great.
Quick,
Yeah.
it's
Boom, boom,
Yeah.
yeah.
it was like drive-ins used to be before
Yeah.
pandemic.
It's like 2 months, less than 2 months turnaround. It's crazy.
It's a very small building, though. It's 700 some square feet.
Good.
Allison can speak to their salad. I thought she really liked it. She went
The
there.
salad and go, it's really good.
Yeah.
And I'm a picky salad eater, and I'll say, and the price point was good, y'all should try it.
Another restaurant on the list, right?
Another one. Yeah.
Has any activity happened with the coin-operated laundromat?
Next to the other coin-operated laundromat, across the street from a coin-operated.
Well, they
Oh, we
finally
said
got
no to that.
approved. by council, as you can see. So they were first kind of continued to the following meeting, and then they got approved. They're an existing one, so I don't know when they're going to be ready to move. They're-
Rosie.
Before you get to
Yeah.
the sign.
Yeah.
They have to demo the buildings. I know their demo permit was already in community services. They have to demo the existing building and start new.
I thought we did too.
I thought we said no.
No,
Hmm?
we said
We
yes.
said yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For some reason, maybe council, I thought said no. I
Well-
thought somebody said no.
Or maybe there was a vote on, this doesn't reflect the vote.
It does. These were already acted on.
No,
So-
I mean, it doesn't reflect whether it was 4-3 or unanimous.
Oh,
or 5-2
okay.
or-
Yeah, no, it does not reflect the vote, it's just the final recommendation and action. So the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval. And then on City Council, the first meeting, they didn't act on it, they just asked them to go back and do more research and bring back more evidence. And they did on the date certain, and they got approved.
Okay.
So maybe you voted no, but you got outvoted.
We can go back to
They
the
have.
minutes and find out.
Freedom.
Any more questions on this?
Democracy
Item?
rules, doesn't it, Linda?
It does. Like it or not.
All right, we'll move on to A4, discuss agenda items for future planning and zoning commission consideration. Anyone have anything to add to the work list?
I'm just gonna inquire about the work list, our trees and bushes and vines and recommendations.
Yes, I know, I keep on saying, please, I'm gonna bring it back, but they have been throwing so much stuff at me. And you
We're
know
still
who
in-
that
okay.
is. So
I've
that
asked.
is on the list. I was actually putting it like pretty quick on the next meeting or something, but then again, stuff came up.
Okay.
So right now, we are trying to get the comprehensive plan process started at least, and that's taking a lot of time. And of course, we have murals, so we have to get that ordinance adopted. So-
That one was okay, I missed that. So was that a lot of
That
discussion?
meeting, you really missed a good meeting. Yeah, it was quite a meeting.
Was that a lot of discussion on the murals? Surely not.
No, it was
It
about.
was a
street
beautiful
lights.
presentation.
Excellent presentation that we all enjoyed listening to.
It's already been to council, it's already been to the Arts and
Well,
Culture
I mean,
Commission,
study
it's
session, though,
coming to us.
we haven't really presented an ordinance.
Oh, okay.
So I'm actually taking it back again for another round of discussion on April 19th. Hopefully by that meeting, we'll get everything sorted out in terms of which path we are taking. And then we'll bring back the ordinance on May 3rd. That's the goal. As you can see, all this kind of lining up at the same time, along with 2 zoning cases that will probably be moving at the same time.
Third.
Council.
Okay.
Yeah. So with all that going on, I had to push the landscape because I
okay.
wanted to get that done
Yeah,
first.
we've had it on there for 2 years, I think. Is it just a
Yeah,
year?
it has been going on since 2020 or
Yeah.
19, yeah.
Okay.
We've been down a planner, so we've had more work
Yeah,
than people.
I understand. Not complaining, just asking.
No, no, absolutely. You
I'll
and me
complain
both.
for you. Why haven't we done this yet?
And tell us where you are on the comprehensive plan.
Yeah.
So we are working towards the selection process. We're working on finalizing a scope and contract. As soon as we get that, that's also on May 3rd. Hopefully, we'll get the contract signed on May 3rd. Or approved by council, not signed.
So a consultancy's been chosen and now,
Not chosen, as I said, we are not the
Yeah.
final, yes, but we are giving a recommendation to.
anything else? Items for future planning and zoning commission consideration. All right, seeing that we have exhausted our topics, I will close the study session at 6:44.
Check, check.
Gio?